So Genesis itself started in 1992, November 1. And many years later, there was an inquiry from Burson-Marsteller about partnering with them. So I always admired Burson-Marsteller and particularly Harold Burson. So when they called us, we got into an affiliation. And it was for several years that we were affiliated with them. And then finally came the big question about, whether they could acquire a percentage of Genesis. I was very clear about one thing, that if we have to do a sellout of the company, it had to be either 100% or zero. I don't like joint ventures because there's confusion about who runs the company, who makes the decisions. And so that happened 7 years ago when they took the acquisition route with Genesis. And since the last 2 years, we are completed the transaction and we are 100% Burson-Marsteller.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. The going forward is really about specialization, which is something that I started a year ago. Very deep specialization, whether it's corporate responsibility, whether it's consumer marketing, whether it's telecom and technology, or whether it's corporate and financial. And the new area is going to be healthcare. There's going to be a big focus on that. The fact is that people want expertise. The days of general kind of advice doesn't work across different businesses. So I think that has paid off, and instead of having one leader in this organization, in these last 2 years, we've created 20. And the idea is to create 40 in this year. Total of 40. So it is about creating far more leaders who have not only the expertise and the depth, but they have the leadership skills, and you give them the space to grow. That's the point. That's a really nice question, because I think everybody around the world is struggling with it. It's very clear that you cannot do PR without digital. So it is really digital PR. So when you look at any campaign, internationally, for example, in the West, it is 50% is digital part and 50% is the traditional, what we call traditional but very much alive media. So if we look at it here in India, every day it's growing. And it started with consumer technology, where it was a definitive requirement in the campaign plan. So it's just rolled into the PR campaign, just like when, from print, television became popular and now digital is popular. So you just integrate it into the same campaign and you have to measure the results. So it's growing every day. Consumer marketing, consumer technology, from the entire B2C space has just sort of, swallowed up the digital aspect. I think there's a lot of focus required in digital in India. There are not enough experts. There are a lot of people running all over the place. But if you want to see the impact of what digital is doing, there is a journey to be made. Well, I set up Public Relations Consultants Association in India. And I think there's a leadership need where we need to get people from Asia Pacific, not necessarily from the globe, but have far more interaction of what's happening in different markets. If you look at what's happening in China, in Japan, in Malaysia, in Vietnam, in Australia, in Singapore and Hong Kong, a lot more needs to happen on a thought leadership status. That is a long journey that needs to be done. I think a lot of it is very tactical right now, and I think the body needs to take it to the next level. That is a real need for us right now.
If you
they're already here. All of them are here in whatever form or fashion. And a lot of them are even very small. And one of the international competitors who asked me that what my advice to them was when I was at the World Economic Forum last year. And I said to them, build it brick by brick. Don't try and do everything in one go and hire people and sort of run after clients and all. You have to show value. It's a service. And that is still my advice.
PR.
Oh, it's very interesting that yesterday we met a very, very big, multinational, exciting, every new business is very exciting as well. So they rang me up this morning and said, we are confused because everyone who has presented fabulous stuff, and we didn't know that the PR industry in India was so, advanced. And I was worried in one way, thinking that I was way ahead. But on the other hand, I was very proud that somebody had to say that. And I'm happy that you're asking this question because this happened early this morning.